What up? So here is part one of a two-part series, really, that's about showing up big time in life and how to capitalize on the learning when people are better than you at whatever it is you're doing. So part one is going to be participation, and part two is going to be called integration. All right, so part two will follow this next week, and or whenever the next blog post goes out. So I was having a conversation the other day with Micah Guler. Micah is my IT guy, my all things internet guy, who, well, he's responsible for putting this together, right? My blog, my video blog posts. He sends out and he spruces up and edits and fixes up all my tough talks, strips out audio, makes it a podcast, and has it sent out to all the podcast platforms. He's the one that created initially and orchestrates and manages my daily dose. So he's like he designed my website. He's like everything internet based. He calls himself a full stack marketer. So he does my Facebook ads. He does everything. I mean, like everything. And so while we're on the subject, a couple things. If anybody needs a guy, I got a guy. All right, Micah Guler. Let me know if you need any of that kind of work, any help with podcasting or internet marketing, or branding, or even design. You know, it's not his favorite thing to do, but he's great at it. Let me know. And the other thing is I mentioned a couple of the projects that he's responsible for. You know, my video blogs, this, as well as Tough Talks, my interviews on mental toughness, which becomes my podcast, and as well as the Daily Dose. If you're not getting those, like in other words, if you're watching this on social media but you're not getting this, and like from in your email, then hop on. I encourage you to hop on my list, and it's easy as one click. Just go to christopherdoris.com/lists, and you just put your name, your email, click on both, means you get both lists. So you get the video blogs as well as Tough Talks, and then the other list is the Daily Dose, which is mental toughness tips in 30 seconds or less, delivered every morning to your mailbox at 6 a.m. your local time, which is pretty badass. Now, let's talk about participation. So the conversation I was having with Micah the other day was about playing hoops. He and I both played hoops all of our lives growing up and into college. And I was telling him about where I grew up. There were courts just a short bike ride away, which was so great because the courts were cool. The courts are awesome. Super well lit at night, well paved, cool nets, no chains, nylon. And but the coolest thing about these courts was the quality of the runs, the quality of the talent, the quality of the ballers that showed up. So there's like 3 courts, right? And so there was the North, Central, and then South court. They weren't called that. That's just how they were. And somehow the way it worked out is that all the great games would be on court 1, the North one. And then the middle court, they were like okay games. And then the third court, people were just shooting around. There was no game. So it was like ballers kind of game, no game, all right? And when we started going there, me and my grade school teammates, when we were in like 7th and 8th grade, and we would challenge each other to get on, to get in a game on court 1, right? Because then somebody would get picked up, somebody would get picked, like, because you know you're shooting around, and if you got balls, you know, and you haven't ever played in a game on court 1. You're shooting around on court 1 while the guys are shooting down the other. They're in the middle of a game, so you're gonna be heads up. But that's your way of saying, "Hey, man, I'm ready. Like I'm here. I want in." And so people see you, and like, really? These kids, man, that's pretty ballsy. So one would get picked, and then we were pretty good. I mean, we worked hard, so we were good for our ages. And then somebody else would get in, and then somebody called winners. You know, a young kid, like I call winners. Hey, I got winner, I got next. And people are like, who's the kid? But eventually we started getting in these games regularly. And what was absolutely, now, so a couple things about it. One, okay, we were participating at a level that was beyond us. And it was scary as shit. But we utilized each other to push each other out of our comfort zones. Because what happened was when we get on a court with people that were easily 10 times better than us. Like I'm talking about some of these guys, it's like Milt Wagner or Billy Thompson. Like if you know basketball, these are names that you recognize. Like these guys played at Camden High and then went on to play at Louisville And I think Billy Thompson actually played a little bit in the league, in the NBA. So like we're talking ballers, like serious game, dunking and all that. And it was just great to even get in, because when you got in, you're like, it's like your attention and your focus level just escalated. Like your competency curve steepened dramatically, because it's like, I have to show up. I have to show up now, because I just jumped off the cliff onto court one, right? Which is really the takeaway that I want you to have from this, is not just show up and whatever it is in your world. Of course, I'm using hoops as a metaphor here, but not just show up and like get on the court. Don't be on no ballers, court 3, shooting around. It's bullshit, weak. You're not learning, you're not growing. Don't play on court 2 because there's no challenge. Get on court 1, get your ass kicked. Participate with people that are way better than you. We're going to talk about the value of that a little bit further in part 2, which is integration, like how to actually capitalize on getting your ass kicked, or being around and surrounding yourself with and participating with people that are way better than you at what you do. Now, if you're listening, here's the challenge. If you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, I know this is a good reminder, but no, scratch that. Here's the deal. Ask yourself this question. Name 3 things. Make a short list of 3 things in your world that you're like either kind of showing up for or not at all showing up for, that you want. Things that are important to you, something that you would love to have be true for you, that you'd love to be involved in, or something that you'd like to create for yourself that you're not showing up for at all, or not showing up on court 1, that you're like playing on court 2 or court 3. All right, step 1, then step 2, go do something bold. Go do something immediate, bold, and masterful towards getting on court 1. And as always, if you create any phenomenal, miraculous stories from this, let me know. All right, I will see you next time with part number 2, which is integration, how to capitalize on playing on court 1 with people that can kick your ass. All right, peace.